Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin. Happy Monday to you guys who are listening on release day of this episode. We are cruising our way through Totally Driven, the re-recordings of many of Uriah Heep's studio songs recorded in the studio, which is why I'm covering it. And boy, it's been fascinating so far. Really enjoyed all the songs, to be quite honest. Only, little nitpicky things that didn't please me perfectly, but for crying out loud, I mean, it's Uriah Heep. It's great music, great performances, great musicians, who can complain? Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Today, we are going to be covering the song Different World. This is from the album Different World. And originally, I reviewed this on October 22nd of 2021. This was season 18, episode 5, and the link is in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to the original review of the album version of the song. Today, we're covering, obviously, the re-recording. And since it's Monday, I just want to throw a quick shout out to, there are, a multitude of products and things that I use to make the show work. Cakewalk by BandLab, Waves, Audionamics' Instant Dialogue Cleaner or IDC, my artwork from Scott Ledzinski, and of course, everyone at the Deep Dive Podcast Network. You can go check them out at www.deepdivepodcastnetwork.com. That came out much better that time. And of course, my buddy Brandon over at Metallicast. And let's get on with today's show. Here it is, guys, Different World. This is an interesting start. I mean, any song that starts out with a rain stick, but it's on a rock album, you just got to wonder what's going to happen next. I really like the feel of this, though. It's very moody. It's without the piano, it feels like it would have fit really well on Magician's Birthday. But with the piano, it feels almost more soundtrack. I love that the vocals started on a different note than what we were hearing previously. Like, it wasn't just, here's the riff, now we're going to add vocals. It was like, here's the riff, and there's going to be a change with the vocals. I like that. I like this. It has a really good feeling to it, Bernie's in good form. He's not pushing too hard. He's just like gently telling us a story, kind of letting us know what's going on. And nice acoustic strumming is just keeping a really nice melodic rhythm. Very simple song. And sometimes that's what you need. I'm not going back and listening to the original reviews I did before I record these because I really want a fresh take. I want to take this song that I'm being presented in this state as it is, and really just comment on what I'm hearing in this one with as little ties to the original as possible. Some of the songs that I know backwards and forwards, it's kind of hard not to do that with, although I think I've done reasonably well. This song is a song that I don't know very well, so it's a little easier for me, and I'm positive I must have said this when I did the original review, but this really feels like it's something more thematic. It feels like it belongs on a soundtrack or as an opening for a television show or something. Like I just feel it needs to be connected to something a little more theme oriented, because it just has that power to it. It's got that feeling. It's not too heavy rock and roll. I think it's very accessible to a wide range of audience, and I think it could work really well in that situation. Okay, a couple of quick interesting things happened in there. There was like a heavy hit, almost like somebody was slamming a dumpster or something very far in my left ear, and then a really weird transition from Lee Kerslake. I'm not sure what that was about, but I like the feel of it. It was just kind of unexpected. I thought maybe we were all of a sudden going to go into a faster part or something. So not really sure it fit what would be expected if you hear something like this, but obviously they left it in. They must have liked it. So we'll go with it.
But I'm not lonely. I found something that I never had. Laying back in the easy chair. It's not the life for me.
I like those accents from Mick on acoustic guitar. At first, I thought maybe they were being coupled by something in percussion, but I don't think so. I think that's just Mick. And those really stand out. It feels almost a little bit Led Zeppelin-ish. And I don't think I compare things to Led Zeppelin very often at all.
You think I'm your one and only, but you gamble with a restless man. In the end, I found a way that we could both be free. And I know it's gonna break your heart. And I know it's gonna break your heart. I'm living in a different world, and as I slip away, I see a fade to black and white. I'm living in a different world, with all my hopes and dreams, I disappear into the night.
I like this change in tone here. It's interesting to see where we're headed in this version with this change, but I like that. I like that it's not staying the same. It's kind of moving around quite a bit. It's a very interesting song. A song like this could be very straightforward and kind of stagnant by the time you get to this point, but I'm still finding this just as enjoyable and interesting as I did at the beginning. I really like the violin. It sounds like possibly that could be a real violin. Some of those things are a little hard to play on keyboard to make them sound as smooth, because with a keyboard, you've got specific notes, right? And you've got a note bender that you can use, but it's really hard to get the smooth performance of an actual violin player because their violin is fretless. So you can just slide up and down. You can hit notes with ease and make transitions a lot more smoothly than you can on a keyboard. And, with a note bender, it's really difficult sometimes to nail that. So I'm more inclined to say it's likely that was a real player, but I've heard Phil do some pretty amazing things before, so it's possible that was Phil playing. I'm so torn on what the backing vocals are on this album. It really sounded on these like it was a combination of male and female, but it sounds like I'm getting a couple of layers of Bernie on this one. So, it's really all speculation on my part and just what I think I'm hearing based on, what I know from all the other songs and how these kind of recordings can be done. It depends a lot on the budget too. It would be interesting if they had the budget for a re-recording album to hire, string players and backing vocalists and that sort of thing, especially when you've got so much talent in the band. I think the violin solo really fit this song though. So if they did splurge on a live player for this one, I could see why. It wouldn't have taken more than, an hour probably to record that. And that's really more setting up and getting the sound and saying hi to everybody than it is actually recording, because there wasn't much there. We'll see if there's a return to some violin here in the ending part of the song. But I'm so torn. Well, no violin, but some really nice bass playing. And it sounds like Lee has really settled back down into place after that one fill that felt a little weird to me. This is a good song. I mean, how could you say it's not a good song? It's got a really good flow to it. It's got a great vocal, really nice movement on acoustic guitar. I love that we're not saturated in piano, because piano is one sound that I've really kind of grown to dislike now. I've heard so much of it. I've written so much on piano, and it's one that can easily be overdone. Plus, I spent a lot of time listening to classical music, especially Beethoven, and there's a lot of piano in Beethoven music. So for me, I'm a little bit burnt out on it, have been for a while. If you want to hear a great piano-oriented album, my friend James Sizemore has a couple that are just phenomenal, really started making me like piano again, at least in those songs. But I liked it. It's just little inflections, little bits here and there, and not a whole piano melody. That makes me a lot happier, I think, than I would have been if he was just chopping away on chords on the piano throughout this whole thing. So it's really nice combination of, piano, guitar, and then, the vocal really just takes it over the top for me. So, overall, again, another really good song. I really enjoyed it. It's, again, one I'm not particularly that familiar with. Although, and I'm sure I said this when I did the episode, I'll have to listen to it more. As I said, I don't listen to music a whole lot these days, but I think that was a great start to our week. What do you guys think? Hope you guys have a great day as we ramp up to get through the week. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!